Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum, our beloved lecturer Dr. Tijani Ahmad. We are from group number 10. We'll present to you on topic money management for our UNGS2011K small assignment. I'm Hafidz, together with my group members, Brother Naim Muzaffar, Brother Afif Aiman, and Brother Ahmad. As mentioned by an Irish statesman and philosopher, Sir Edmund Burke, if we command our wealth, we shall be rich and free. If our wealth commands us, we are poor indeed. This describes the problem of being unable to manage our money. Hence, from our brainstorming session, we found that money is not well managed, it's instead spent like water, leaving everybody's pockets dry. This is mainly due to a lack of self-discipline, a lack of financial knowledge, and a lack of creative methods to manage money. Due to the lack of creativity in managing money, most people find that the traditional ways used to handle money are uninspiring and somewhat tedious. Therefore, people find no joy, no enthusiasm in the process of financial management. In this assignment, inshallah, we provide a myriad of creative methods to manage money as well as ways to promote monetary self-discipline. We also aim to challenge the traditional ways used to regulate money and pave the road to a more enjoyable money management process.
One of the methods for financial management that we came up with is by promoting self-punishment. So what is promoting self-punishment? Let's find out. So for the first method of promoting self-punishment is to set an expenditure limit. So what do I mean by setting an expenditure limit? So I give you an example. For example, I set my maximum expenditure for RM15 daily. So if I spend less than that, for example, I spend 10 ringgit, so I have the balance of 5 ringgit. So I can do whatever I want with that 5 ringgit. I can save it, but I don't have to give any punishment for myself. So if I overspend, for example, I spend 20 ringgit more 5 ringgit than the maximum set, so I have to punish myself by, for example, I have to fast the next day so I don't spend anything, or I will set the maximum daily expenditure to half. So for example, I set it 50 ringgit, so if I overspent yesterday, so today I have to spend half of that, so 7 ringgit and a half. That's it. Secondly, is to have a bad habits jar. So what is a bad habits jar? Is by simply putting any desired amount of money into a jar or a piggy bank whenever you do something bad or whenever you sin. So for example, if you swear one word equals to 1 ringgit, or when you late to class, 1 minute goes to 1 ringgit, or every time you late to class goes to 1 ringgit. So you have to put the money inside the jar. So what are the benefits of having a bad habits jar, or basically just benefits of promoting self-punishment in financial management is it promotes self-discipline. So it's just like you will discipline yourself. It's not anybody is going to punish you but yourself. And for this bad habits jar specifically, is you promote istiqamah in avoiding the bad deeds that you frequently do. So by having this, you can avoid doing sin. Another creative way for us to manage our financial is to make a banknote worthless. In Malaysia, there are 6 different colors of banknotes available, which are 1 ringgit blue color, 5 ringgit green color, 10 ringgit red in color, 20 ringgit yellow color, 50 ringgit turquoise, and lastly the biggest amount, RM100, the purple color. So how does this work? You just have to make one of the 6 color banknotes worthless. So you must not use the desired color of the background. For example, like if here 5 ringgit, the green color. So whenever you see this particular note, it's when you receive it, whenever you receive it, you must put it in a separate compartment of your wallet, or just put it in a separate envelope, put it in a drawer, hide it. Yeah, that's how I do it. So this money can act as an emergency cash whenever you need cash. You know where to find it, and as a saving to buy any desired item. So if you, as a motivation, so if you want to buy a desired shoe, whenever the amount is reached, you can buy that shoe. So the only downside of this method is whenever you're in desperate situation, whenever you're in a small grocery shop that you have to use small cash, so you have to sacrifice the R5 notes since it's one of the smallest notes available. So and then the second one is saving 5 ringgit. The whole piece of the 5 ringgit is not as consistent because you won't be able to find that 5 ringgit daily or a lot at the same time at one time. So the saving will not be consistent. So there can be days that you cannot save at all. There can be weeks that you cannot save at all. And then one more in this era. So there's a lot of shops that uses cashless transactions. So you won't be having the cash. You won't be holding cash. So whenever to do this, you have to have cash. Then that's the only downside. You cannot save it consistently due to the cashless transactions nowadays. That's all.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Naim Muzaffar, and today I'm going to share with you the ideas that I have brainstormed with my group members as to how we can find creative and alternative ways to financially manage our money. So when we talk about financial management, of course, the number one question we have to know is where actually is our money going from? We have to take into consideration where it is the money is going from each salary that we get monthly. So of course, we need to talk about the personal monthly budget that we have. So if you look at the bottom here in this diagram, another high amount of money that we use is actually used in things which use electricity, meaning your appliances such as lamps, fans, computers, TVs, all these expenses that we have to take into consideration. This is actually the topic that I want to be talking about, as you will see later in my slides. Now, why is it that I want to focus solely on this electricity component of our monthly budget? Is because in reality, when we have things plugged in, there is this phenomenon known as vampire power. And vampire power, it actually refers to the way electrical power is consumed by electronic and electrical appliances while they are switched off or in a standby mode. Meaning, it's not enough to just have something on standby or switched off once you plug something in and the switch is on, because it is actually actively using electricity. It still has an amount being used despite it appearing to be switched off. So as you can see in this sort of chart at the bottom of the slide here, that things such as your cable box, meaning to say your Astro, your DVD players, your audio systems, microwaves, coffee makers, that they still consume a certain amount of energy despite them not being actively in use. The amount that you actually use and the amount that it shows on your electrical meter, as well as finally in the bill that you have to pay at the end of the month, is actually quite varying, as there is an extra amount being put into this vampire power that even you do not know about. Now when we know about this phenomena of vampire power, we want to put it into perspective as to how much we actually use. And according to this article by Payless Power in 2018, vampire power can actually account for as much as 20% of your monthly electricity bills. It sounds quite intimidating. So from our group, this is the solution that we have. The idea that we have come up with is an application on your smartphone that you can actually use to help further calculate the amount of electricity that you use and actively convert it into the money according to how much units you use per day. So how it will actually work is that if every device that you have in your home has an interface where you can actually connect to your phone. So Once you have this, you can already actively record, whether it be remotely, whether you are at home, whether it be you are outside. You can actually actively consider how much money is being put into every unit of electricity of every device that you have in your home. So even you can see as which devices are on and off. Even when you are home, you can see which devices are actively using the electricity. This can help you have an idea on which devices that you should unplug and disconnect once they are not in use, so that they are no longer sapping away at your electricity and increasing your electricity bill by the end of the month. This actually coincides with an idea had a few years ago, which is the idea of smart homes. Meaning to say that most homes, they actually have an interface where you can use your phone, whether it be to switch on items such as the fan, such as the lights in your room. So if we can have this sort of idea, we can coincide it with this previous idea of smart home, making it much more efficient and reliable. Another idea that we propose is to help save money in a more fun and alternative way. We already know that saving money automatically means that we will have more money put away by the end of the month. However, that process does not have to be so tedious, meaning to say that yes, every time you get home after a day of work, you look inside your pocket and you might find maybe a 5-cent coin or a 10-cent coin, and you just put it away in a coin box or a piggy bank. So what we propose is that you have these loose change in your pocket. So you might as well try to make it a more fun way to try to save it. So the way that we propose this idea to have a spin on the classic coin box is that we actually produce this coin mosaic. So what is a coin mosaic? It is exactly as it is shown in this diagrams here, wherein the classic color guide idea, wherein each number coincides to one color. However, this time we propose that instead of a color, you use shillings or the loose change that you find inside your pockets and attach them to each number on the outline that you want to create. So as you can see in this diagram here, this person has taken a world map sort of guide, and instead of using colors, they have used loose change. So it is up entirely to your own creativity to which coin that you want to put into each diagram. It does not simply extend to outlines of the world map. It can change according to your creativity. Maybe if you were to have an outline of a car, for example, you can arrange the coins into whatever shape that you want so that it can produce this eventual mosaic of the car that you have chosen to have an outline of. So not only does this encourage the proper management of loose change in a fun and alternative way, it actually helps promote your own artistic side, because the way that these coins are arranged is entirely up to you. And this actually endorses you to try to save more loose change in an effort to try to finish the mosaic and to have this beautiful picture that you have created.
Turn your calendar into cash planner. This is another creative yet effective method to promote self-control and help you in saving money. This technique works by allocating a targeted amount of money according to the date. This is where you can turn your calendar into cash planner. We are going to calculate like this. In general, there are 30 days in a month. Then we multiply it by 12 for a year. Let's say, on the first day of each month, you save 1 ringgit. Then the second day, another 2 ringgit. The next day, 3 ringgits. Continuously until the 30th day, you are going to save 30 ringgits on that day. The amount would be 465 ringgit within a month. How much could be saved in a year? Yeah, definitely around 5,580 ringgits. Wow, that's a huge amount of money that goes straight into your pockets with a proper saving skills and self-discipline.
Our final method of managing our finances is placing weekly budgets and monitoring them. Of course, as we all know, everything without limitation and proper organization ends up becoming a cluster of issues and obstacles that eventually lead to a lot of regret. So to avoid all that, I've done a lot of research And I found out that placing rules and regulation on anything is always beneficial. It's less time consuming and it's good for our mental and physical health. The whole idea behind this method is to enable ourselves to be able to recognize our daily routine and specifically monitor our spending, what we spend on, what we need as necessities, and what we do as luxuries. If we're able to maybe make a small chart of everything we do throughout the week, and in the end be able to calculate the amount of money we're spending, we would be able to know which are the areas that we can avoid or we can stop doing in order to save up more money and therefore become more financially stable. In conclusion, there are a lot of ways to handle our finances. As mentioned, we mentioned, I think, maybe 6 or 7 methods. There are a lot more. We just have to be creative about it, and we need to always keep in mind that there's one goal here, which is to be financially stable. So in order to reach that, everybody has to be consistent in saving their money, and they have to have specific boundaries for themselves, avoid doing things that may cost them in the end. And as this quote reads, if our wealth commands us, we are poor indeed. So we need to be in control, and inshallah, eventually we're going to be able to be financially prosperous. A bit of Islamic perspective. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَجْعَلْ يَدَكَ مَغْلُولَةً إِلَى عُنُقِكَ وَلَا تَبْسُطْهَا كُلَّ الْبَسْطِ فَتَقْعُدْ مَلُومًا مَحْسُورًا. This verse means do not make your hand as chained to your neck or extend it completely and therefore become blamed and insolvent. The message conveyed in this verse is to always be intermediate, be in the middle. Don't go to the extremes, because not spending at all makes you very stingy, makes people try to avoid you, makes you live a very, very sad life. And also spending way too much ends up in making you very regretful. So to avoid both extremes, the best way is to do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. He said about us, he said, so to be ummatan wasata is to live within the normal guidelines of life, and like I said, to stay away from the extremes. That's all from us. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed our lesson.